At the beginning of the episode, we learn that Jim receives a call from Thomas, who is actually his dead son. Jim can't believe it and says, "You can't be my son." Thomas then begins to accuse him, saying, "You left our mom alone, left her to die. Maybe you think my mom Tabitha doesn't love you," but Jim cuts him off, telling him to stop the bullshit, insisting that he is not his son. Thomas then says, "Both of your kids are out. Do you think they'll make it home before nightfall?" Hearing this, Jim runs outside to find his children, Ethan and Julie. Jim sees Julie and Ethan, tells them that it's almost evening and they should head home quickly. Boyd is also there, and he asks Jim if everything is okay. Jim replies that everything is fine, but adds that things are getting worse. After saying this, Jim brings his 2 kids home. Meanwhile, Henry wakes up to find Tabitha not there. Then, he hears glass breaking as Tabitha accidentally drops a glass. Tabitha hurts her finger due to the broken glass, and Henry applies a bandage. He also realizes that Tabitha hasn't slept all night, so he suggests she should rest a bit. Tabitha explains that when she was in the town, Victor took her to a tree and told her that his mom had also gone inside that same tree to save the children. He told her that she should do the same if she wanted to save the kids. If Victor hadn't said that, she probably wouldn't have gone into the tree. Just then, Tabitha hears the sound of empty glass bottles clinking, and she asks Henry about it. Henry explains that there is a tree outside with glass bottles hanging from it, and he offers to show it to her. So, they quickly head outside. Henry takes Tabitha near a tree. Henry explains that his wife, Miranda, hung the bottles. She liked to hang bottles on many trees around the town, but this tree was her favorite, and she used to visit it often. Tabitha then says that the tree she came out of also had a bottle hanging on it, but it wasn't like this one, it was hollow inside, and she could go through it. Henry responds by mentioning another tree that was Miranda's favorite, but it's a bit farther away. Henry offers to take Tabitha to see that tree, but when Tabitha insists on seeing it right away, Henry agrees and puts her in the car to drive her there. Meanwhile, in the town, we see Victor holding a diary. The diary has drawings of trees, and Victor starts measuring the ground with his feet. He then arrives near a tree and begins digging a hole. We also see Boyd at the police station with his son, Ellis. Boyd tells Ellis that they're going to capture the creatures and use the talisman stone, but Ellis disagrees, saying they don't know enough about those creatures to even consider capturing them, and he refuses to let Boyd go. Boyd insists they can't just sit idle, saying that he spent a night in the forest and the creatures didn't harm him. He mentions that Kenny and Jim also spent a night outside in the forest, and they made it back in the morning. They had brought food with them, so staying outside wouldn't solve anything. However, his son, Ellis, tells his father not to go. Just then, Donna arrives. She notices the father and son arguing and asks why. Boyd starts explaining that he is planning to capture one of the creatures that night. But Donna warns him that he's taking a dangerous risk and that nothing will be gained from it. Boyd insists that he will capture one of the creatures, interrogate it, and even torture it if needed, hoping to get some answers. But Donna argues that it's the wrong thing to do and that they could be putting themselves in even more danger. Donna tells Alice that he just needs to stop thinking about himself because he now has a baby to take care of. Saying this, Donna leaves. We see Fatima waking up in the morning, where a girl named Clara is cooking food, using the fat of a cow that died the night before. However, Fatima is disturbed by all of this and steps outside. Outside, there's a pile of garbage with rotting vegetables, and Fatima starts eating them. An old woman named Tilly notices this. Fatima gets scared and runs away. We then see Kenny heading towards the woods. A group is seen with Jade, Christy, and Dale accompanying them. They arrived at the spot where Kenny and Jim had rested and stayed overnight. Kenny suggests that they spend the night there as it seems safe. Meanwhile, Jim is seen preparing food for his son, Ethan, and he tells him that he needs to eat a little for now. He assures Ethan that when Kenny brings food for them, he can have a full meal. Julie joins them but doesn't eat. Ethan then starts talking about his mom, asking, "If my mom was killed, who would have buried her?" Jim tries to stop him, saying, "Don't talk like that," but Ethan keeps insisting, asking how his mom might have died. Jim, frustrated, scolds Ethan, and Ethan walks away, followed by Julie, who also gets upset and leaves. Now, Jim is left alone in the house. Suddenly, the phone rings, but Jim doesn't answer it. Boyd is seen working on a board. At the same time, Father Katri appears. But it's clear he's not really there, he's a figment of Boyd's mind. Father Katri starts questioning Boyd, asking, "What's your plan? How will you trap them? Are you going to lock them in a room? Do you have a plan?" He continues, reminding Boyd that people have died trying to help others. "I was killed because I helped people, then Miss Chan was killed because she was helping others too. I think you'll be the next one to die." Father Katri suggests that the creatures, or monsters, want Boyd to change completely, but Boyd resists the idea. Boyd, frustrated with his own thoughts, angrily tells Father Katri to leave him alone. He says, "I made this board so I could write down the names of those who have died. So far, we've only buried their bodies, but their names haven't been written anywhere. Yours will be the first name. Then, there will be Miss Chen's name. I had to do something for those who have passed." Meanwhile, we see Victor arriving at Sarah's house. She is busy trying to fix a broken jar. Sarah invites Victor inside and tells him, "This jar was a gift from my brother, but now it's broken, and I'm trying to fix it." Victor asks her, "Do you have an extra bed? I'm planning to stay here tonight, and I'll tell you a story too." Sarah agrees to this arrangement. On the other hand, we see Fatima fixing her bed when there's a knock at the door. It's Tilly, but Fatima doesn't want to talk to anyone. She tells Tilly, "Please leave. I'm not feeling well." Tilly responds, "I know you're pregnant, and I've helped many pregnant women. Let me help you too." Fatima finally opens the door and begins to cry, confessing, "I don't know what to do. I'm constantly worried about my baby. I'm not sure if everything is going to be all right." Tilly reassures her, saying, "Every pregnant woman feels the same at first, so your worries are understandable. But don't worry, I'll take care of you." Meanwhile, they watch the people who have gone into the jungle to get food. Jade is there, and he starts saying that he feels like they're trapped here and they should leave, but Dale insists that they won't go anywhere without food. When Jade steps away to use the restroom, he notices a stone, and suddenly a dead man appears in front of him and grabs him. However, it turns out to be a hallucination. We see Kenny with Christy, who is gathering vegetables. Christy pleads with Kenny to look at her and talk, but Kenny isn't in the mood to talk to anyone. Just then, they notice Jade coming toward them with Dale trying to stop him. Jade insists that he's leaving because he's been seeing strange things around and feels the need to get back home. Kenny warns Jade not to leave because he won't reach the town before nightfall. He suggests they stay there since they have shelter, but Jade doesn't listen and starts walking away. Christy tries to stop him, but as she follows him, her foot gets caught in a trap. Jade turns back and helps her. Soon, Kenny and Dale arrive as well. Kenny blames Jade for what happened, and Christy tries to calm things down, telling them to stop arguing. "It's not time, please remove this cage from my legs because I'm losing a lot of blood." They start trying to help, but the cage won't open. Jade comes over with a wooden stick and tries to pry open the cage, but it still doesn't open. Then Dale says, "At this rate, we'll be here all night, so we should carry Christy with the cage to the shelter." But Jade responds, "I have an idea." He takes Dale with him. They went into the woods where the scarecrows were standing. Jade takes 2 metal rods out of one of the scarecrows, hoping to use them to open the cage. Meanwhile, Christy is with Kenny, and he tells her, I won't let anything happen to you. Christy responds, if something does happen to me, promise me you'll never be alone. Stay with everyone. Kenny says, don't talk like that, I won't let anything happen to you, no matter what. Just then, Jade and Dale return with the metal rods. Using the rods, they manage to pry open the cage, and Christy's leg is finally freed. Her leg is broken, and she tells Kenny, you need to twist it this way to set the bone. Kenny does as she says, but Christy experiences immense pain. After that, they lift Christy and start carrying her toward the shelter, hoping to reach it before nightfall. Meanwhile, we see Ethan at a diner, where he's washing dishes with a woman. Boyd is there and praises Ethan. The woman said that if Miss Chan were here today, he would be very happy to see her restaurant. We will continue the restaurant like this even after he is gone. Boyd then says, that's a really good thing. The woman starts talking about Ethan and how he has endured a lot, but look at how hard he's working and helping. Boyd asks the woman, what about you? How are you doing? She replies, I'm fine, and then asks Boyd how he is. Boyd responds by saying, we don't need to be afraid of this place. There must be a way out of here, Boyd says. Then Ethan speaks up, saying, there is no way out. If there was, we would have left long ago. Boyd tries to calm him down and says, don't worry, I'll find a way. Ethan responds, if there was a way, my mom wouldn't have disappeared, and Miss Chan wouldn't have been killed. After saying this, the boy goes inside. We then see Fatima, who is being taken somewhere by an old woman named Tilly. Tilly tells her, I have tarot cards, and through them, I will find out if your baby is okay or not. Fatima says, I'm not going to do all this. I thought you were going to show me something else, but you're just trying to make me crazy. You're just like Sun's woman. The old woman replies, today, you can call me Sun's woman, but these tarot cards helped my grandmother a lot, and they're helping me too. These tarot cards show the future, and they'll tell you about your baby too. I bet on that. Fatima eventually agrees, and Tilly begins making tarot cards for her. Ask these tarot cards any question you want and they'll answer you, says Tilly. Fatima then asks if her baby is okay or not. But as soon as she tries to pick a card, a crow crashes into the window. He tries to pick another card, but the crow comes in through the glass, flying around the room. It crashes into a wall and dies, scaring everyone around. Inside the bus, we see Randall, who notices a fly, but it was outside the bus. Suddenly, more flies appear inside, scaring him, but then Boyd arrives, and the flies disappear, indicating that Randall was just imagining them. Boyd then says, I want us to exchange duties today. You'll handle the police station, and I'll stay inside the bus to take care of the others, because today I'm going to catch one of them, referring to the monsters. Randall agrees to this. In another town, we see Tabitha with Henry, heading toward a tree. She starts searching for food inside a car and finds a bracelet, which surprises her. She says, I made this bracelet for my husband, but it got lost. Later, I found this same bracelet inside a car, which people call the diner car. But how did you get it? Henry responds, Miranda made this bracelet for me. I've had it since then. This leaves Tabitha confused, and she says, my mind is going crazy. Tabitha says, I don't know. What's happening to me? Just let me out of the car. I'm not going anywhere. But Henry starts talking, saying, the tree is just a little further, and I can show it to you. So, he starts driving the car, and then they have an accident. Both of them are put in an ambulance. Henry is injured more severely, but Tabitha has minor injuries. When Tabitha regains consciousness, she finds herself in the ambulance. The paramedics tell her, you're completely fine, but Henry is more seriously hurt. However, they reassure her that he will recover, and they are taking her to the hospital because she had previously run away from there. Tabitha says, I'm not going anywhere, please let me out here. At that moment, the ambulance comes to a stop, and they discover that a huge tree has fallen in front of the vehicle. This makes Tabitha realize that she has returned to the town. And with this suspenseful moment, the episode ends. We'll meet again with the next episode. Thank you for watching.